I think about these funds, what it might mean for more Americans. We talk about the ability to create wealth, and that's whether it's to buy a house, to just think about your retirement. What do you think this means in terms of retirement planning for more Americans?
Yeah, so look, I think, first of all, taking a step back, retirement, right? It is such an interesting conversation. It is changing so drastically. The ecosystem, everything about it is changing. And when you think about anything we can do as a society to help people save earlier, invest earlier, and fund those longer lives, that is a great thing. And when you think about what these accounts will do for helping people actually put money away towards their retirement, but start at a much younger age, it is about time in the market, right? You just need to have more time. And the idea of helping people start saving earlier is a wonderful thing.
So you give this seed amount of money, and then hopefully the people who get that have exposure to the market, and then they start to give more as well. I think the challenge for a lot of people might be they don't necessarily have the money to add to that. So, it's a complicated program, I think, and one that won't necessarily, or it's a simple program, but a complicated issue that won't necessarily solve. If we think about it from the broader perspective of Americans being prepared for retirement, what are you seeing from clients out there right now, making sure that in an environment like this where we're seeing some volatility? Charlie was just talking about double-digit declines in some software names today because of disruption from AI. What are you hearing from them about how to hold on to their assets?
Yeah, so if we take a step back and we think about what are we trying to solve for when we talk about helping more Americans achieve retirement security. So retirement security means the freedom to choose what's next, the freedom to do what's next, the freedom to support your longer life. And when we talk to clients about it, it's two things. It's giving appropriate access to the full power of the capital markets, and it's managing risk across these longer lives. And when you think about how you pull those two things together, that's what we focus on with our clients. In fact, BlackRock, a lot of people don't realize we're a retirement company, right? People think of BlackRock in many ways. We're a retirement company. Over half of the assets, half of our 14 trillion is in service of helping people save for retirement, right? Back in 1993, we invented this elegant design of a solution, which is a target date fund that helps people access the capital markets and then manages them through in an appropriate way so that when they retire, they have money to use during their retirement. The challenge is the world's changed, right? So people are living longer. The responsibility of retirement saving is now so much more on the individual than ever before, and the capital markets have evolved so much. So you need to almost rewire the whole thing and understand and figure out what are you solving for and the resources and tools you have to deliver on that.
So Jaime, what are some of the things that you think about in that rewiring?
Yeah, so there's two really big themes. The first is we talk about people living longer. People are living longer, and they've always been focused on saving to get to a certain number. But who knows what that number should be, and how do you actually then convert that and do the math to figure out how much income that should get you? So the first one is all about turning savings into income. And you think about pension plans for years. What's the benefit of a pension? You get a defined benefit, a defined income stream. And to date, 401k plans haven't provided that. More and more people are asking for it. Over 50% of Americans are more scared of outliving their assets than dying. Like, that's a really scary thing. And what they're really saying is I need clarity on figuring out how much income can I get and how do you actually give me the lifetime income, the guaranteed income to get there. And so one of the things that we've been talking with our clients about is a target date fund that has the option of embedded lifetime income provided by an insurance company. And so you've elegantly brought together the target date fund solution, which is the number one solution for any 401k plan, but you've now embedded it into that, or you've embedded lifetime income into that. So
is that an annuity that goes in there then?
Yeah, it's the option. So, we do think that, first of all, people need choice, and people want options. And the beautiful thing about LifePath Paycheck, which is our target date fund with income, is not only does it give you the option to get that guaranteed income, an annuity provided by an insurance company, but it also helps you figure out what that income could be and how much it could be throughout your life.
Well, how is this different than people saving assets, and then supplementing Social Security with selling some of those assets every year when they reach retirement? Is there an aversion then to selling the assets, and people want income generated from the assets instead of actually disposing of the assets?
Look, I think at the end of the day, we're all human, right? And you want some sort of security. That's the beautiful thing about Social Security. It gave you
Right.
some type of security. And so you could do the math and figure out what your withdrawal is and how you actually sustain those assets that you've saved. And you can work with an advisor or various tools to do that. That's a perfectly fine approach. Or you could also get the security of having that guaranteed income and having that income stream for you. And we call it life path paycheck because people work and work and work.
Right.
And then suddenly they retire and they say, well, where is my income coming from? And so through life path paycheck, you actually get that paycheck after you stop working.
Fascinating. And one of the things before we wrap up is, we talk a lot about the great wealth transfer, and whether it's to a younger generation, but increasingly, again, you talk about people living longer. Women tend to outlive men. And I am curious, are you having more conversations with women, either as part of a marriage or a partnership, and kind of planning around that idea that, okay, one of us might not be around, and it's likely to be maybe the woman who lives longer.
Yeah. So average longevity rates have increased by 7 years over the past 2 decades. Now, when you think about women, as you say, tend to, in general, outlive men. The other thing that's interesting is in partnerships, more often than not, the woman is younger. And so she has that bigger gap to fill. When we talk to women about retirement savings, this is where security really matters, the confidence. Let me know I have some type of guarantee, and then I will use the rest of my savings on discretionary items or doing the things I want to do. Confidence, security, and clarity. Clarity is the big word for everyone. Let me know how much I need and how I'm going to fund it.